Hello, slots enthusiasts. How are you? My name is John Friedel. Welcome to Professor Slots, a channel that helps you master casino slots so you can win your way to success. It's great to see you all here again for another Professor Slots podcast episode and live stream. If you're with us live, be sure to say hello and ask your slots related questions. I'll get to them a little later in the show. Today, we're going to be diving into my 7 secrets for winning at slots during your next Las Vegas visit. Hint: start getting ready well beforehand. I just want to make a short couple of comments. I put in the live stream a link to my latest survey. I need to evaluate whether or not an online course is the right thing to do and gauge interest. So it's a one question survey. And that's what I'm looking for. It's also in all the Facebook groups and in the newsletter and all of that. I'll put a link to the show note to the survey in the show notes for the podcast, as well as the video description. Also, I've been getting some requests to be more succinct. One of the things that I do on YouTube, which is apparently less common, is for a year now. Like a year, like this week. I've been having weekly live streams, and it's helpful to build community and all that. But so many people don't do it. I guess, it's hard. Certainly if you watch some of my first ones, you might understand how it's hard, even from someone who's had a podcast for a couple of years and who presents regularly, during my day job when I had it. So these are meant to build community, and the people in the live chat, basically my top fans. So this is kind of for them. For those of you who would prefer succinct descriptions of individual comments, just give me the tip and go. These 7 secrets will come out as 7 videos. I might double up and have like 2 in 1 or something. And that should be a video series, probably starting sometime in January, where you can watch, wait for that, or you can listen to an hour of my talking about them here, all of them here. So that's kind of how I've set things up. Now, also, Chuck was kind enough to give a donation. Thank you, Chuck. $20 donation. You can do the same to support the show and support my being able to continue to offer the show and my videos and my whole channel. Because I've got like a little while to sort of make that happen, with having been laid off a few months ago. So thank you, Chuck, for your support. Those of you who want to do that can go to the $sign at the bottom of the live chat and click on that, and give me a very helpful donation, and it's much appreciated. I'll recognize you during the show. Thanks, Chuck. Right. So let's get into the topic today. It is not unusual for 3.6 million people to visit Las Vegas in a month. Perhaps you're one of them, or maybe you've yet to have your first Las Vegas vacation. Whether you're a frequent traveler to Las Vegas or a newbie, you want to be better prepared at playing slots in Las Vegas. As I've been saying a lot lately, preparation is key. A little can go a long way, especially when it comes to your hard-won cash. So let's get started with my 7 secrets to winning on slots during your Las Vegas visit. Now, this was actually a requested topic about a year ago, so I wrote an article for it, and have since gotten some feedback and made some adjustments on what people are who go try these topics and what they're seeing, and basically it all works out pretty well for them. Now, because this is 7 tips, I've got a whole bunch of links. I've tried to put the most important ones into the video description, and they'll be in the podcast show notes. But there's some things you want to connect to, and that's where those will be. Or you can just check with the article, and the article is again in the video description. So that's just a couple things before we get started. Right. So tip number one: Nevada payout return limits. The theoretical payout return and return statistics. Nevada State Gaming Regulation number 14 places a minimum legal limit on the theoretical payout for slot machines. This minimum payout limit is 75%. There is no upper theoretical limit, as there is in some states like Pennsylvania. Further, Nevada's lower theoretical payout limit, that 75% I mentioned, applies per wager. That can be important. Here's the exact wording from Gaming Regulation number 14. Quote, all gaming devices must theoretically pay out a mathematically demonstrable percentage of all amounts wagered, which must not be less than 75% for each wager available for play on the device. That answers, if you dig into it, that answers a whole lot of questions, end quote. If you dig into it, that answers a whole lot of questions I get from people who are concerned about one bet, is it better to bet max bet or one credit, or, is there a difference? Just that straightforward sentence, might want to go back and listen to it again, is answering a lot of questions. But what does a 75% minimum mean? It means the player always gets, does it mean the player always gets back 75 cents if they make a $1 bet on a slot machine? No, it doesn't. What it means is that the statistical average is at least a 75% return over many, many bets, or as statisticians like to say, over the long term. The additional use of the words per wager in Regulation 14 means the slot machine must never be set less than 75% return on average. So, for example, an unscrupulous casino operator might set a slot machine to have a 70% return for some time, then later set the payout to 80% for an equal number of bets. Such a setup would result in an average 75% return over both periods combined, but that would not meet Nevada's legal requirement. It's kind of like a loophole they closed very carefully. They're very careful. As we've talked about 2 weeks ago in Nevada, they're very careful and very good at these things. So I'm working on a separate article on how this gaming reg is commonly misinterpreted, misrepresented to others by supposed slots experts for a long time now. The gaming regulation says the theoretical payout is 75% or greater. Yet it's then mischaracterized to saying the theoretical payout is locked at 75%. Do you see the difference? Why does this happen, you ask? Simple. These so-called experts tacked a personal opinion onto a fact that casinos will always set their slot machines to the lowest possible theoretical payout allowed by law to take the most money from slots enthusiasts that play at their casinos. That's not true at all. Just look at the month-to-month gaming return statistics. I'll show you live in a moment, right from the Nevada state government. Overall, for Nevada, slot returns are around 90%. Yes, 90%. That's not 75%, that's 90%. So actually in September this year, it was nearly 93% on average for all slot machines in the state of Nevada. Another close examination of the regulation shows something missing, which is well worth noting. What's missing? There's no mention of a maximum legal limit, which some states have put in place. So without an upper legal limit on payout returns, casino operators in Nevada, we have a winner. Thank you, Joyce. Not sure why I can't show things on my screen. It seems to be, I would show you on the video. Thank you, Joyce. Joyce gave a $10 donation. It is much appreciated. I'll try to notice when that color comes up so quickly next time. Thank you, Joyce, for supporting the show. There's no mention of a maximum legal limit, which some states have put in place. Without an upper legal limit on payout returns, casino operators in Nevada can offer the occasional slot machine, which on average wins. Of course, casinos lose money on slot machines set up this way if they're set over 100%, but it's legal. But there are good, while they do lose money, there are still good business reasons to do so. So I went over these reasons in my live stream of 2 weeks ago, Nevada and Gaming Regulation election results for your state. Suffice to say now, Nevada gaming regulations make doing so legal. Two questions naturally follow. One, do Las Vegas casinos set up the occasional slot machine to be winners? And two, how could my cats are acting up. The lighting's moving all over the place. And two, how can a slots player find these winning slot machines? The answer to the first question is yes. Casinos often decide to set up an occasional hello. Very colorful live chat today. People are finding all kinds of colors. The answer to the first question is yes. Casinos often decide to set up an occasional slot machine to win for promotional purposes. It's a silent casino promotion because casinos choose to do this on slot machines situated to be easily visible to passersby. It's also worth noting that, like any business activity, it's always on a careful budget. Casinos can't afford to do this too often because, like everyone else, they're on a budget. But they do it because I know because I found them before myself. In a few minutes, I'll share some recent experiences from my fan base regarding candidate winning slot machines in Las Vegas for your consideration. But knowing they exist and why they exist is a necessary first step to finding them. And yes, I'll get to some of the questions in the live chat. Right. So the Nevada Gaming Control Board and Nevada Gaming Commission, they have both and they're somewhat combined. They regulate the gaming industry in Las Vegas. This State Gaming Commission's website is both thorough and comprehensive. We'll get to that. The site offers several useful resources, but let's consider the other side of payout returns, actual payout statistics. Legal limits and reported statistics are like the difference between a plan of attack and an actual battle. Remember the adage, no plan survives contact with the enemy? Or in more normal circumstances, having a budget isn't the same as paying bills? In terms of slots gameplay, we know that Nevada gaming regulations have set a minimum theoretical payout limit of 75% per wager on their gaming machines. That's the law. But what happened next? How did it work out in the real world? Some states, including Nevada, do more than define a theoretical payout limit. Nevada also provides amazingly comprehensive return statistics. Each year, I review these actual statistics in my Nevada slots article at professorslots.com/NV. So let me share that for you. So this is what it looks like at the top of the article. This is a long article. They're not normally this long. What I've done here is provide the link for every casino by city with the county noted because that's important when looking at. So you have the usual sections that I talk about, important legal statutes. I have an article like this on every state. I do it every year. Each year, basically one a week. And slot machine private ownership, gaming control board, and then the casinos. Long list of casinos separated out by commercial and tribal. So these are all the casinos in Nevada, but rather these are all the cities in Nevada, and including 2 tribal casinos, and one in Laughlin and one in Mopa. And it would just be black text everywhere, solid black text, if I were to put it in so many casinos. And the usual sections, right? But down here towards the bottom, just before the summary, is payout returns in Nevada. And there's a couple of links here. So I reference what I was telling you about with theoretical payout, but I also have where to find on the Gaming Commission statistics and publications under the gaming revenue. So let's go there. So over here on the side, Gaming Control Board, Gaming Commission. Over here on the side, statistics and publications, there's a gaming revenue information link. And I've pressed that, and that's where these are. So the most recent return statistics as of today, as of this moment, is for September 2020. They're usually like a month and a half behind others. I just did Nevada Gaming, Miami Valley Gaming in Ohio, and they do it by month. And the most recent one they have is July. So Nevada, like I said, is one of the best out there, and they're quick, even for so many casinos. And that's just amazing if you consider how many casinos it has. But I was looking at the one from Miami Valley Gaming, and the latest one is July. They were closed in June, and the month before that. So there's no numbers on that. And I should show you that sometime. I got to write an article, present on it or something, get that information out to you, because maybe a short video. Oh, short video is coming up, right? I'm going to be switching over to providing short videos that review casinos mostly from the parking lot. Anyway, that last return statistic is like twice as bad as anything they've done in the last 7 years since they opened in 2013. The drop from the first month to the second month of that casino, when they were opening and they wanted to be the best possible to draw people in, that drop to the second month was previously the worst, more or less the worst they'd ever done. And this is well below that. And you can assume that what's happening here is what's happening, across the country. But if we go back to these, I press on this PDF, you'll get the PDF. So let's just start at the top. So how this works is for Nevada. Like I said, it's comprehensive, but it's fairly straightforward once you realize how it's structured. The latest return statistics from the Nevada Gaming Board are shown. Briefly, Nevada provides actual payout return statistics by state region, including downtown Las Vegas versus the Strip. Slot machine denomination, including most common amounts like multi-denominational, and maybe we'll talk about megabucks, but others. 5 cents, 10 cents, penny slots, all that. They also have duration. So I'll just go to the topmost Nevada wide, and they have basically 3 sections here. There's a section over on this side. It's just September. The section here, which is an average for the last 3 months, and a section here over on this side of the page, which is an average for the last 12 months. So you can see if something last month was kind of unusual from the previous 3-month and 12-month areas. And that's what we're looking for, but I'll get into that. So state region, slot machine denomination, duration, and revenue range. This is the average for the state, but it goes county by county. And in some counties like Clark County, which has downtown and the Strip, they'll separate those. There's even one for North Las Vegas and more. But because that's a lot, they've also further divided it by how much is the revenue for the casino. And they group those casinos. Are they over 12 billion a year, or are they under 1 billion a year? So they divide them out a little bit further. Right. So while past statistics never predict future behavior, where's my mouse? There it is. While past statistics never predict future behavior, if you've ever had a statistics course, you know this is a truism. We can look at available returns to see if we can spot non-random business trends. Maybe, just perhaps, we can find a slot machine denomination with the best odds of winning last week, and perhaps they still have, or last month. Perhaps they still have high odds this month, because a business decision was made to do so. Why? Because in general, casinos are businesses and slots aren't table games. The odds of winning at table card games can't change unless the rules of the game change. That's classical physics. That's math. But slot machines are electronic devices. Yes, they have random number generators, but RNGs are adjustable as a tool by the casino operator trying to control their financial performance metrics finely. As mentioned earlier, this topic deserves a longer explanation, which I hope to provide soon in another video. Tip number 3, you got to keep moving. That was a big one. Lots of tables. Maybe I should shut that down. But that's actually, we're going to dig in just a little bit here because that's how you win. one of the ways, one of the tips. So tip number 3, secret number 3, check the most recent payout return statistics. Before your next trip to Las Vegas to play slot machines, visit the Nevada Gaming Commission website. Under statistics and publications, again, I'll point that out again. Once you go there, under statistics and publications, right here, there is gaming revenue information. And that'll lead you to the PDF. Take a look at the most recent. Okay. At the moment, the most recent available monthly gaming revenue from Nevada is September 2020. These reports are for gaming statistics for more than just slot machines. They're also table games and sports betting. And then we also have the most recent month and the combined 3 months and the combined 12 months. So page 1, if we go take a look at this, page 1, well, let's see, this is the actual page 1, right? So this is all locations statewide. And you get a general sense of what's going on there. But let's move on down. We are very interested in, maybe you're interested in Sparks or Wendover or all those are in here. But let's take a look at the ones in Clark County. So if we go all the way down to page 8, and this is typical because this is a standard format they put out every month, page 5, 6, 7, 8. Page 8, Clark County, downtown Las Vegas. And it's not broken up. This is the page following this are pages where they have the casinos that are under $1 billion per year revenue, and the other ones are, over 12 billion and everything in between. So, but this is the one for all downtown casinos. Let's see. Right. So page 9 would be those over 1 billion. Page 10 would be those between 1 billion and 12 billion in gaming revenue. And page 11 would be downtown Las Vegas for over 12 billion. And they'll have even more in the strip, which is what we're going to go to next. So page 12 is here. Right. And I'm sorry for just the blasting you with numbers. They're hard to read and you might be able to pick it out on a good machine, but I showed you the link, and it's in the link is in the show notes and video description. But we're looking at this column right here. Maybe I can figure out a way to kind of highlight it here for you. We are interested in this column right here. Payout return, and we're not interested in table games, so I'll bring that down over to here. And we're not interested in sports betting, so I'll bring that up over here. And so this is the section which is slot machines in September 2020, and everything else is everything else. This is on the page for Clark County, Las Vegas Strip, all casinos. All right. They'll tell you the number of locations, how many casinos that have penny machines, nickel machines, quarter machines, dollar machines, etc. Megabucks is still on here, but something's going on with that. I think I know what's happening. They used to call them out separately. 3 months ago they didn't, but then 12 months ago they did. And there was so they've kind of gotten away with that one. That's a special topic we'll cover some other time if anybody's interested. So, right, on average, downtown, and that's the other thing here. This is win percent, but it's the casino win percent. So it's 8.38, which if I subtract 8.38, just to demonstrate this for you, what you'll need to do, it's 91.62% for all slot machines on average for the month of September in downtown Las Vegas. That's not 75%. That's the legal limit, lower limit, but 91.6%. So, this is, more pages, page 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 starts with all of them combined, and then it starts breaking it out with more and more revenue for the casino, starting with over 1 million and then moving up to 12 million and then 72 million. I believe that's per month. So since the format is common on all pages, let's review let's review how to read them. And for downtown casinos combined. So I think I basically did that already. Number of locations, number of units, win amount in thousands of dollars. Let's see if I can do something here I haven't tried before. That'll help. Right. So we're interested in this September 2020, and this win percent over here is what we're interested in, and it is casino win, not player win. So you have to subtract it out of 100. All right. Enough math. It's not even calculus. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. Let's see. Do you see the negative numbers? Sometimes it's an accounting thing. They mean minus. They mean a negative number. That's what the parentheses mean, just to help you read this a little bit. So let's see here. We wanted to talk about nickels, I think it was. Right. Yeah, I'm going to go back up to all downtown, all unrestricted locations, and 7.38. All right, or 7.35 right here. That is for nickel machines. There are 8 locations downtown that have them for a total of 110 slot machines. You should be able to get through 8 locations and find all 110. But on average, they have the best return. What is that? That's 100, and it's 7.35. 92.6, almost 92.7. So if you're going to go to Las Vegas, you need to know this stuff, all right? And if you look across to the 3-month and look up to 6.52 in 3 months, 6.81 in 12 months in a year, on average, they're high. On average, they're usually the best. But if we look at some of the others here, we start seeing more things. Let's see. That was a 92.65 player win percent. It's common, but then we see something like on the $25 machine. We see this is pretty low, but right. So 8%. The multi-denominational machines has the second best. After that, you've got dollar machines. After that, you've got quarter machines, but then the worst is $25 machines. Now, when I did this in in July last year, when I wrote this article originally, $25 machines had the best return. So if you want to really compare that number to what it was, see, it's over here for the 3-month average, it's 8.86%. And even better, at 12 months, it's 6.54%. So this 14.43% is really odd. And that tells you somebody, what happened? Well, coronavirus maybe. But then why did they only turn down the $25 machines? Why did people play it more? What's going on there? Did you have an well-paid NFL football player come in and spend $1 million on it? What happened? So this is a, normally $25 denomination has fine odds, but certainly not in the month of September. So this is the sort of thing you pick out, right? You look at these things, and I'm demonstrating this so you know how. Okay. So let's see. Right. So this is a lot of statistics, but consider what we learned even with this simple research of statistics from downtown Las Vegas casinos for September 2020. The worst payout returns are on $25 machines, but not in the long term. The second lowest payout return is penny slots, but that's consistently the lowest return in the long term. That is not uncommon. It's nationwide. You can bet it's true at your casino. There's one casino in Colorado, one of the frontier towns, that 1 month had it as the best, or at least wasn't the worst. But it's it's just like this everywhere you check. The third highest is $5 slot machines, which is also consistently true in the long term. And the best returns, all very similar, are nickel machines, multi-denominational and $1 slot machines. So that's worth knowing if you're going to go downtown. Now, a further detailed analysis would be to perform the same straightforward return study on downtown Las Vegas casinos, separated into the five ranges of gaming revenue. But let's save that further analysis for another time, or for an individual consultation before your next Las Vegas trip. Secret number 4, keeping it moving. And I'll, after this one, before I do number 5, I'll check in with the live chat. So make sure you ask your questions. Secret number 4, the many wonderful Las Vegas gambling podcasts. So far, I've talked about gaming regulations and gaming revenue reports available from the state of Nevada based on official information from the state government. But that's not everything we have. There are also people like you. There are people just like you that have enjoyed Las Vegas so much that they started a podcast about it. There are more than a few such Las Vegas gambling podcasts. In preparation for your next Las Vegas visit, start listening to these podcasts to learn tips and tricks from these Las Vegas experts. Each show is more or less available anywhere you find podcasts. Some shows are former or current radio shows which distribute as a podcast. So again, look for them wherever you find podcasts. Listen to podcasts. Listen to enough of them and you'll hear me on some of them. On any podcast app, including Apple Podcasts on iPhones, Google Podcasts on Android phones. They're already right there. You don't have to install it. They're there for you to use. They come up with the phone. There's also Ghana, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Radio Public, Deezer, and many others. Use your search tool to find any of the following podcast show names: 500 by Midnight, Vegas Never Sleeps, 360 Vegas, You Can Bet on That, Gambling with an Edge, Vegas Confessions Podcast, Vital Vegas. The longest running Las Vegas gambling podcast is 500 by Midnight, the original Las Vegas podcast. That's their name. They've been at it since January 2005, which is right about when I think the previous year podcasts became available, technology became available. So they've been there right from the beginning. They provide weekly episodes ever since. As of today, they're up to an astonishing episode number 762. The hosts focus on Las Vegas news stories. Vegas Never Sleeps with Steve Maggi is a former radio show now distributed as a podcast. He's been broadcasting since 2008. His show is mostly thoughtful interviews with various Las Vegas entertainers and others. I was one of these other interviewees in March 2018. 360 Vegas is a popular podcast about all things Las Vegas. They also host an annual meetup called 360 Vegas Vacation. Other gambling podcasters and fans enjoy attending this September event. Not so much this year. Then there's Gambling Podcast. You Can Bet on That, a self-identified podcast for the recreational gambler. These guys are tied with one other I think one of the ones I mentioned already as one of the best out there. They're hosted by Mark and Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike's the dentist. They have great chemistry, produce a lot of fun and friendly show. And the family is involved in all of that. So while they are physically located in San Diego, they are so near Las Vegas and visit so often that they often talk about it. They're great guys. Once upon a time, Mark taught me to place craps at Foxwoods. Gambling with an Edge is a weekly live radio show in Las Vegas, found afterward as podcast episodes. It's hosted by Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin of video poker fame. They interview professional gamblers, authors, and casino insiders. Back when I was considering starting my business by writing a book, whether or not I should and how would I go about, taking that and doing something with it as far as a business, Bob Dancer was an example to me. So then there's Vegas Confessions Podcast. It's all about the casino and gambling lifestyle. The three hosts are often in Las Vegas. They cover Las Vegas topics as well as gambling superstitions, casino games, food reviews, trip reports, and more. Last but certainly not least is Vital Vegas by Scott Robin. Rubin? His blog, Twitter feed, and podcasts they're incredible. He loves Las Vegas. Here you'll find essential Las Vegas news, tips, deals, and, as he says, WTF. The WTF is pretty spicy, but he knows what's going on. He's connected to executives, and he shares things, and he's often on the Las Vegas news for what's going on with Steve Wynn or this or that. In my opinion, out of all the Las Vegas podcasts I've mentioned, pick Vital Vegas. You won't regret it. None of these podcasts have paid me to promote them. I like to listen to them and thought you might find them useful in preparing for your Las Vegas visit. But yes, I've been on a few of them several times. I should further note this is not a comprehensive list of Las Vegas podcasts. For instance, I haven't even listened. I haven't yet listened to Faces and Aces Las Vegas podcast. Also, again, these podcasts are merely those I've happened to discover and enjoy over time. So, at long last, let's check in with a live chat to briefly say hello. I think the last time I was checking things, hello, Steve. Good to see you. Michael's here. Excellent. He's from Colorado. Steve is from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Jan is here. Jan tells me she hasn't been subjected to any more hurricanes recently, although they all missed her. Once upon a time, we did worry. And some conversations going on there. Joyce gave me that great tip. Nadine is, I believe, in Hawaii. She says, aloha, good morning, everyone. Wonderful emoticons. Chip says he's having trouble for the first trying to use the $, give me a tip. He sends me a check. And it would be more convenient for him and possibly for me if he were able to use that, but he's having some trouble connecting to the PayPal through that service. Let's see. So thank you, Chip, for trying. I wouldn't even give you a virtual for all your support. Thank you. Good suggestion, Paula. Paula is our moderator today. Slots Ninjas. Hey, I'm putting together a couple videos. Yep. I'm glad that you're winning using my techniques. Let's see. Chip says I found the 5-pull taste method has worked quite well. Yeah, and Slots, I'll move on. I found that the 5-pull taste method, Chip says, has worked out quite well. And another side benefit. Yeah, I'm collecting testimonials. I'll need to start sharing some of those. And let's actually put this away. Right. So I'm collecting testimonials. If you care to share where you've tried my techniques and my strategies, and if you've been successful, that would be wonderful. I'm a little concerned about Wisconsin right now. I was most concerned about the state of Washington because they have that very unique system of being based on scratch tickets rather than lottery tickets for their lottery system. But looks like there's a winning strategy out there that's unique for that state. Otherwise, I hate not being able to help. But we got something for that. Now I'm on Wisconsin. Wisconsin seems to be, maybe it's a pandemic, maybe it's a wider issue, but every state's a little bit different. And I need to find a go-to method for Wisconsin. Might actually have to drive out there and check things. So I'm trying to help state by state. Again, and someone shared on my strategy 1, only win immediately, also known as the 5-pull method video on YouTube. For me in the Midwest and the East, and Las Vegas, which is where I've been out West, seems to be 1 in 5 casinos. 1 in 3 casinos that uses the business practice which allow strategy 1 to work. I have an audience member in California who went through the tribal casinos in California, and he says it's closer to 1 in 4 casinos out there. So 1 in 3, 1 in 4. Yeah. So find out, if you find success, please let me know. I'd like to keep an eye on what's going on in every state. Jill is here. She made it. Wonderful. I know you've been wanting to be here. Yeah. She'd been back in January and December watching, but now she's Yeah, now she can only catch it by chance. Catherine is here from Portland. I think Oregon, right? Not Maine. Jill says, not familiar with podcasts, and I'm talking to text, so I know my last mention was bad. We're all connecting in different ways. Half the people, according to my statistic, I have statistics, and some of the stuff shows about half the people listen on a mobile device, and half don't. And I think it's something like a little more people watching on the computer, the YouTube, and I try to be accommodating that way. Steve says, on slot machines that have multiple denomination like penny through $2 denominations, do the odds change when you play like 10 cents or go back to 2 cents? Yeah, there's people out there who are changing the betting. I get this question sometimes, so I've had a chance to think about it. If you change how much you bet, and people talk about, like you said, 10 cents and then 2 cents, and maybe switch it around and they find success. I think no. And I think the reason is technical. All these slot machines, no matter what state it is, go through rigorous testing. And the point is, unless they have wildly different games for each credit, and there's like less than 1% of slot machines out there that do that, or if they're a skill-based game, because maybe you're skillful and maybe you're not skillful, so that can change the odds. But they're designed. The Class 3 machines are designed to have as close to the same odds as possible, no matter how much you bet, whether it's 1 credit or more, whether if you change the denomination, and you can see that. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. You can see that in the 6 states that provide return statistics. They'll have other denomination machines, and you read the fine print. We talked about it here a little bit, and see what do they mean by multi-denominations. Some states will put you choose quarter, and it goes into the quarter bucket, right, for the return statistics. Sometimes if it's a multi-denominational machines, if the return statistics have multi-denominational showing on their row, like I could pop back to here and show you, right there, multi-denominational. But other states they'll drop the multi-denominational, and whichever one you chose, they'll drop it into the bucket for that denomination. So no, it's all meant to be fair. And they go through extraordinary efforts to make it happen. But then we love winning patterns. There was the the very old, depending how I drop my coins into the machine, pause, wait, then 3 quickly, and then 2 not. And it's fun, but prove it. It's hard to prove, though. I need people to have been doing gambling records in detail for a year before they learn this technique and try it, so that they can show me, oh yeah, right there's the data. I just love data. If you got data, let's do data. But that's maybe asking for too much. Yep. Thank you, Jill. Thank you for considering giving me some of your winnings because of your success from using them. That sounds like a fine plan to me. You can also go to my website, and there's a tip the professor on the sidebar in my articles anytime you want to, or you can come to this show and do it in the live chat. Okay. Chip says Michigan has great tribal casinos. I'm from Michigan, so Paula's explaining things. That's wonderful. Julie says Vegas is coming up soon for her and trying to decipher reports. I have to sort of manage what most people like. Just seeing all those numbers is a shock for some people, but other people are like, zoom in. So I did. And Catherine says can't cross the border from Portland to Washington, where Alani is, unless you quarantine for 14 days. Yeah, Jan in Texas had something like that for Louisiana for a little while back earlier in the year. Chip says feels he needs a grade for going through the math um, during the Q&A. Well, if I did that, I'd have to give you a quiz, and I think you're going to be booed down if I were to give a quiz. Um, right. So, um, AK says, I try to find the sweet spot for slots denomination, meaning on a penny slot machine, adjust through it. Knock yourself out. It shouldn't be technically any different, but then there's a small chance it might matter. I'd just like to know for sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't want you to waste your money, but I can think of no technical reason. All I know is how careful they are to never let that happen. Okay, so let's get back to it. The next secret is downtown versus the Strip. Las Vegas is famous for the Strip with its world famous mega resorts, shops, 5-star dining options, and entertainment venue. But there is also the smaller and lesser known historic downtown Las Vegas with its venerable casinos, museums, and zip line. Comparing the Strip to downtown, is like comparing apples and oranges. Each location is a unique experience with different options. At a high level, I could perhaps best describe downtown as where many locals go, while the Strip is where out-of-towners tend to be. How do I know this? Because of reported gaming revenue for the two areas. Before this year, the Las Vegas Strip had 6.6 billion in annual gaming revenue. That's the Strip. At the same time, downtown Las Vegas had less than 10% of that annual gaming revenue, or 650 million. The Strip has big casinos, big acts, and big everything else. Again, it's world famous and hardly a secret. Downtown Las Vegas is known as Old Vegas or merely Fremont Street. For many visitors, Old Vegas is a secret worth sharing. Old Vegas is more than one secret. It's perhaps as many as 15 secrets, all in itself. In advance of your Las Vegas visit, consider reviewing a post, not my post, called The Crazy Tourists, 15 Best Things to Do in Downtown Las Vegas. Link in the show notes. It's so important. I wanted to make sure that you had that. If you are staying on or slightly off the Las Vegas Strip but want to visit downtown Las Vegas or vice versa, how do you get there? How far apart are they? Downtown and the Strip are about 2 to 5 miles apart, depending on where you are in the Strip. With light traffic on Las Vegas Boulevard, it takes 15 to 20 minutes to drive from mid-Strip to the Fremont Street experience. This time applies to driving your car or taking a rental, including finding a spot to park. Otherwise, there's taking the bus, walking, rideshare services like Uber or Lyft, and taking a taxi. It's a 2-mile walk from the Stratosphere on the Strip to downtown. Stratosphere is on the north end of the Strip. Secret number 6, keep it moving. When to visit and when not to visit. Whether you visit the Las Vegas Strip, downtown Las Vegas, or both, winning at slots in Las Vegas means considering when to visit. This question has to do with the number of visitors in Las Vegas at any given time, any given month. In 2018, over 42 million people visited Las Vegas. In the month of June 2019, 3.9 million people visited, according to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau. Only 514,000 visitors, about 13% of the monthly visitors, were visiting in June to attend a conference. Per month, most visitors are in March. The most number of visitors are in the month of March, at less than 3.8 million, while the least visitors were in February at 3.2 million visitors. Conference attendance is meager during December. Now, this is a normal year, and 2020 is what it is. It's unique. So we'll have to, decide if you're going to go this year. It's just so unique. It's hard to imagine how they're doing. But if these trends hold, even if the overall revenue is down 10% on the downtown Las Vegas versus 90% of the revenue and on the Strip, even if that revenue is much less, still more than likely divided up by those percentages. So I'd also like to share some of the experiences, this, when this was an article, the feedback I got from my fan base on having then used it to visit Las Vegas. So what happens? Whether they are on the strip or downtown, they have been reporting that they win at slots on weekdays and lose on playing slots on the weekends. So one thing I did not share was, remember I told you about Vital Vegas? Let me share this. He has what he calls Old Faithful. Maybe I can zoom this in a little bit. Yeah. Take a close look at this, and particularly in the background. I don't know how well this is coming through in the video, but you can see where you are at the Four Queens. I want to share this because he calls it Old Faithful. It is a high limit progressive machine, 2 credits. I believe it's a $5 machine, maybe. Let's see, where can I find this? I have a note on it somewhere. Right. Oh, I don't want to skip that. All right. I'll work through this. I'll leave this up for now. And we'll come down to exactly where you can find it. Let's see. Oh, I lost my place. Yes. So secret number 6, this one and the next one. Per visits. Okay. So, what happens, whether you're on the strip or downtown, they've been reporting that they win at slots on weekends, my fan base, and lose on playing slots on weekends. Win on weekdays, lose on weekends. I can explain why and touched on it above, but explaining its technical reasons hardly matters. This pattern exists, whatever the cause, but I will explain it. And I want that, you to know about it before planning your Las Vegas visit. I touched on why earlier, how casinos are businesses with fine control over the return statistics for slots. This control is now daily due to technical advances in casino operating systems. At most modern casinos, central computers control slot machine odds of winning. Casino operators have been seeing an unprecedented number of casino visitors. Not so much this year. We have to kind of ignore 2020. But to manage such large groups, casino operators needed to automate their casino. Doing so allowed them to reduce their workforce while also providing the ability to achieve their daily financial performance metrics. So whatever happens, whatever advantage we take, they're never going back. Just those 2 changes, workforce and finer financial control performance, that pays for anything like we might take advantage of. So they're not going back. But automation means casinos can quickly adjust the odds of winning on all their slot machines. When would they need to do this? It's a business decision. Casino operators universally decrease the odds of winning on slot machines during the weekends when hotels have higher occupancy. You can see the trend in the statistics if you look into it. To keep some balance, they also increase the odds of winning on slots during the weekday, so that the week on average, they have to report in Nevada and Las Vegas. In Nevada, they have to report weekly. All right. Other places are monthly. They report in weekly, but the Gaming Commission reports out monthly. So as long as the casinos make sure that their average for any given week is within the limits and where they want, to report to the casino or to the Casino Gaming Commission, they're fine with that. So I'll come back to this. They can do that, and so they bring it down on the weekends because there's a lot of out of towners, and they bring it up during the week because they want to keep the locals happy. The locals are their bread and butter. So just to move this along, the lower odds aren't just Saturday and Sunday. They start about 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and they go to about the same time, about 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So we'll call that the weekend, not Saturday and Sunday, but most of Friday and through 10 o'clock, nearly noon on Monday. So this can be difficult for people who go to conferences and they suddenly become available at the end, right, of their week. And they're like, well, the weekend's here. I guess I'll go play slots. And I'm like, No, you kind of missed it. That free night you had on Tuesday, that would have been a good one. And I've had people come a lot of feedback on this article. People have come back to me and said, "Yeah, I was winning all week, and then when my time opened up for the weekends, I lost all of it. I lost all my winnings." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, it's obvious." How do I put it? It's obvious. Weekends are bad, and weekends start early and go late. All right. Can't say much more than that. So plan your Las Vegas visit accordingly, especially when choosing which day or days you plan on playing slot machines while there. In general, if there's a crowd, then be very cautious about risking your bankroll because it's also holidays. You could have 4th of July in the middle of the week. Well, consider that whole thing before and after, like a weekend, right? Major holidays. So watch out for that. We have major holidays coming up. Even getting people requesting consultations because they want to plan for the holidays coming up and do the best that they can at their local casino. Right. So secret number 7, and 5 minutes left. Number 7, candidates winning slot machines in Las Vegas. Scott Robin, and that's what I wanted to show you. I didn't want to miss that. Scott Robin, first mentioned from Vital Vegas, first mentioned the best slot machine I know about in Las Vegas. He runs the Vital Vegas blog, Twitter feed, and podcast. This slot machine right here that I'm showing is at Four Queens in downtown Las Vegas, over by the cashier's cage in the high limit room. Yes, it's high limit. Don't bet if you can't afford it. Full respect. It's a 2-credit, $5 denomination progressive Wheel of Fortune machine. Being a $5 denomination, it's a high limit machine, which I don't recommend playing unless you're able to make 120 bets of $10 each. Don't ever bet with any amount of money you can't afford to lose. Remember, winning by luck isn't something which I can help you with, but winning by trends, by taking advantage of business casino practices, is what you can do, and you just need to find a casino that's doing that and doing what I call it countermeasures. We can take advantage plays is the words. So I can help with that. So thanks for sticking with me in this live stream. So this extra bit, this picture of Old Faithful is kind of your bonus for sticking around through all that. Statistics. But one other thing I wanted to offer as a bonus secret, number 8 maybe, is that James, a member of one of my Facebook groups, reported that Four Queens Casino in downtown Las Vegas. He went there and he found out that the taste, winning strategy number 1, the 5-pull method, the only win immediately method, he found out that it works there. And that was during the pandemic. So, the average play to use, the advantage play to use at this casino setup is this slot strategy 1, only win immediately, 5-pull method. For slot machines there, make only 5 bets, in case you haven't heard of that one. There's video out there. For slot machines there, make, and I think Slots Ninja is making videos on using it on his channel. Thank you for that. Please reference my name. For slots machines there, make only 5 bets at most, stop on the first win, then move to another slot machine, and you can collect these tastes. If you win anything at all, move on without making the remaining bets. Optionally, you can try to play slot machines not played for at least a few minutes or longer. Of course, finding an idle slot machine isn't easy on a busy nights at a casino, but busy nights at the casino on the weekends might not be are not a good idea for Las Vegas anyway. Right. So let's switch back to the live chat. I've seen some things scroll by, and we'll spend the next minute or two seeing if there's anything I really missed. Shannon says, stay downtown Las Vegas in October. I wish I had these tips. I'm sorry. Let's see. The Slot Ninjas and I think Jan is talking about Louisiana slot machines and what happened due to the hurricanes there. This is sort of information that doesn't really show up on anywhere but the live chat, because I deselect that. You don't see the live chat when you watch the recording later. But these are the sorts of things you can read through. The whole live chat is a experience unto itself. You can ask questions of me, but you can also ask questions of all these others who are very engaged in learning and using my tips and tricks. Let's see. Thank you for hitting the like button. And Scratching the Itch says, just got back from Vegas and got some great wins. Even got a hand paid live. And not really here to promote other shows. Happy for you on your trip. Okay. And again, those of you who are trying to get attention on your live streams or your channels, realize that the live chat is not available later. So unless I say your name, which I try not to do, can't help. Makes for honesty. Thank you. There have been times when people are really aggressive about it, and I'm like, dude, nobody's even seeing what you're saying. And I want to be fair and make sure you understand. Okay, so we are good. My average 1 minute over, and thank you so much for everything. Watch my other videos. There's lots going on there. Last week before that, I've been pumping out more and more videos, and there's even more coming. I'll be doing casino reviews. Lighting just arrived while during the show. I'm expecting a package to have better lighting inside my car in the parking lot in the casino. And yes, I know have no casino contracts, blah, blah, blah. We can talk about that, and I have. But thank you, everyone. Watch my other videos, and I will talk to you soon.